Hey, what's up, guys? It's Dan from UnitedQ. It's Wednesday, which means we have another awesome podcast to get you over hump day. I'm here with my co-host, BBQ Forte.
Hello. Thanks.
And we are brought to you by ProQ BBQ Gourmet and Smokewood Shack, our epic sponsors. ProQ is dedicated to providing you with quality smoking products with top-notch service and free advice for beginners to pitmasters, and you can find them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram under ProQ Smokers. So if you're thinking about buying your first smoker, or looking to upgrade, or even looking to pick up some epic accessories, check them out over at Max Barbecue. And BBQ Gourmet is devoted to promoting real barbecue and supplying the UK and Europe with top championship-winning barbecue rubs, sauces, marinades, and accessories from the US and around the world. So you can find them on Twitter and online under BBQ Gourmet. So regardless of how you cook, whether it's on charcoal, wood, gas, or electric, the real taste of barbecue can be yours all year round. And we have the Beefy Boys with us today. Hello.
Hey, hello. How's it going?
Great. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you.
Cool. Could you introduce yourself for the listeners, please?
Yeah, so I'm Murph. I'm one quarter of the Beefy Boys. There's four of us. We're four mates who kind of grown up, went to school, college and stuff together, and then we kind of united by a love of kind of food and barbecue and that sort of stuff. And yeah, I'm one of them. My name's Murph. So hello.
Hello, Murph. So you guys, you've been mates for years, and then you came together just to create a barbecue team originally?
Yeah, well, it kind of all happened. It's kind of the definition of, like, you know, a drunken barbecue that got out of hand, really. It was sort of about 5 years ago. Dan, who's one of, like, the founding members of the Beefy Boys, this is before we'd even learned about competition barbecue and that sort of thing. So, yeah, about 5-6 years ago now, he was having a barbecue for his wife's birthday. And he called me up. You know, like I said, we've all been mates for a long time, and we're both big fans of food. And he rang me up and asked if I'd want to help him sort of like cook up some food for everyone going. And we decided, well, instead of doing a normal kind of British boring barbecue, we'd try and, you know, ape what we'd kind of seen, you know, Man versus Food and Diners, Drivers and Dives, all that. And I mean, about kind of 6 years ago, that stuff was kind of quite rare in the UK. Do you know what I mean? I mean, now you can go into Wetherspoons to get pulled pork, or what they claim to be pulled pork. But back then, you know, you couldn't get it anywhere.
Yeah, I bet,
yeah. Kind of American, but I mean, you had like Bodine's in London and a few things kind of here and there, but it was pretty rare back then. So
yeah,
we kind of jumped on YouTube and jumped on the internet and learned as much as we could. Cooked up some stuff. All our friends kind of loved it because they'd never kind of experienced that, you know, proper American sort of style barbecue before. And then we thought, oh, there might be something in this. So just kept doing it. Heard about Grill Stock, you know, competition in Bristol, and thought, oh, we'll sign up and give it a go. And then it's kind of all just got out of hand from there, really.
So what were you cooking on at day one then, when you first started at that little thing where you'd done all your research? What did you go and choose to cook on?
First thing that we ever cooked on, we had just like a Weber kettle, and we were doing it, you know, so we had a couple of like water pans in there, did the whole kind of, you know, had a like kind of cool zone and stuff, and tried everything there for the first time. We completely knackered the first time we did pulled pork, so we were lifting the lid and mopping it like every 30 minutes. So it's a real rookie mistake, I think.
God, this is taking forever.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it would come up to temperature, and we'd be like, oh, it's time to mop it, lift the lid, and it would get cold again, and we started again. So that didn't work. And so then we picked up like a really cheap kind of offset smoker, just from like this kind of warehouse store in Hereford, and that was okay. And we managed to get some sort of decent results from that. And then once we kind of used that, then I got a Pro Q, can't remember which model it was. Dan got a Smoky Mountain. And then we just started kind of, you know, expanding the collection of barbecues until the girlfriends got annoyed.
Yeah.
Really.
Doesn't take long, does it?
No. I think 3 barbecues is your mark, and then once you got 3 in the garden after that, yeah, they're not so keen anymore.
So how did you guys do in your first year at Grill Stock then? So you got your barbecues, you learnt your stuff, and how did that progress to sort of Grill Stock level then?
Well, that was kind of by accident, really. I mean, a friend of ours, one of the other founding members of the Beefy Boys, Christian, at the time, he was working as a runner for the BBC.
Okay.
And he it was the first year they did Grill Stock. He went down there and they were doing some filming down there for something or other. And he worked down there as a runner. And then when he came back to Hereford, that's where we all live, he told us about this competition. And me and Dan had just sort of got into, barbecue, bought our first one and started looking it up. And we said, we should really look into that. And kind of I was like, well, look, barbecue's a real art. People do this for years before getting into competition. So let's work out what we're doing, spend some time, and then we'll enter it in a couple of years. But then Dan drank a bottle of wine and just entered us. I think we'd only been barbecuing for like a month, so we had very little idea of what we were doing.
Sometimes it's the best way though, just dive in, go for it.
Yeah, exactly, man. And the great thing about those competitions is, you go there and you meet all the other teams, and everyone's really like friendly and helpful, and you get so much, you pick up so many little tips and tricks off the other teams, just from kind of being there. So we went, I think that was 2013. Yeah, 2013 it must have been. Or was it 24? I can't remember. Or it could have been 2012. And we entered and we came 7th out of 20 teams. We did really well in the seafood round. I think we came like top 5 in that. And then all the other ones, we've just kind of, around sort of the top 10.
Yeah, wicked. Well done.
Yeah, we did, we were, I think, there was a proportion of luck involved. I think we got quite lucky. And everything, everything was just turning out really, really well. So that was a real confidence boost for us, because we were like, I've only been doing it a couple of months. We managed to come kind of 7th. So that kind of spurred us on to, sign up for the next years and that. But, our main thing at the time was burgers, even though we loved the whole low and slow side of things, brisket and ribs and pulled pork. The thing that we kind of really latched onto from when we started kind of getting involved in sort of this type of food was burgers. Because obviously we're from Hereford, and we get fantastic beef in Hereford. It's just everywhere, Herefordshire beef. So we're really spoiled for that. So in the first 2 years that we entered Grill Stock, they didn't have a burger range, even though that was the thing we were really, really good at. So so at that point when we started at Grill Stock, we were just focusing on the kind of low and slow sort of smoking aspect of it.
Yeah.
So then you started to develop the burger more and more?
Yeah, well, I think it was the 3rd year we entered Grill Stock that they did their first burger category, and there's kind of quite a lot of pressure on us at the time, because you kind of get friendly with all the teams and everyone knows each other, and we all look at each other's Facebook posts and stuff.
And you guys are bigging yourselves up as the Burger Kings, so.
Well, yeah, we shot ourselves in the foot really, and it's like, all right, and there's a burger round now. It's like we better do well in it. And so in the 3rd year we entered, it was the first time they did a burger round. And our philosophy was we just wanted to do a really good classic burger. So some of the other, I think with a burger it is a simple thing, but you got to do it right really. And as long as you get all those different aspects right, you can't go wrong. And I think sometimes a lot of the other teams, what we saw them handing in, people were putting like lobsters on top of their burgers and all this sort of stuff. And, and we were like, oh well, we've only made a cheeseburger, so. But we
kept it simple,
really,
but smashed it.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the thing. So, we paid real attention to every single aspect of it and tried to make sure that, we ascended at the best cheeseburger that we possibly could. And, and we won that round. I think that year was we had the biggest point lead margin in that round. I think we scored 600 points, whatever it was, and then I think the second team, the people who came second, got 500. So,
wow. Clear victory.
That was really good.
Awesome.
Because of that, we won that one, and we got entered into the World Food Championships in Las Vegas.
Awesome.
To go over there and compete in the burger round there, which is insane.
Awesome. So what happened when you went over there?
So how does that all get to World Food Championships Vegas? So how does that all happen then?
Yeah, well, that was a bit of a whirlwind, really, because so we won the burger competition at Grill Stock. We were kind of over the moon, and then they announced when you're on stage, now you guys are going to Vegas, which is awesome. So the World Food Championships is this big competition over there. They broadcast it on like American network TV and stuff. And basically, you've got loads of different range. So there's a barbecue range, there's burger, there's seafood, pasta, like world's best sandwich, world's best bacon dish. All these different, but we were obviously in the burger one. And they're great guys. They really take care of you when they're there, when you're there, but you've got to get there, is the thing. So obviously most of the teams competing, even though they call it the World Food Championships, it tends to be, out of 50 teams, it'll be like 48 teams from America, one from Britain and one from Canada.
Yeah.
But, that is the world, I think, to a lot of those guys. So, we managed to get some sponsorship from a local brewery in Hereford called White Valley, who sponsored us to go over there and basically helped us cover our costs of like flights and accommodation. And we just kind of went over there for fun, really. We knew we were going to be up against 50 of the best kind of burger chefs in America, and it's a real mixture of, some of the teams are amateur cooks, some of them, can be restaurateurs. It's such a wide variety of people that you're up against, and some absolutely amazing and really, really talented chefs. And of course, it's burgers. America invented it, so it's like kind of going over there as an Englishman, trying to do a burger. We didn't really expect to do very well, and we were kind of
weren't the most popular.
We were just doing it for a laugh, really, and. We came second, which was just mind-blowing at the time, really.
So you guys are putting out the second best burger in the world.
Yeah, and that was it was that point that we were all like, right, okay, this is, I think,
insane.
This could become, it was mad, because we basically went over there with the same philosophy. We're like, right, let's just keep it simple and just try and do the best, cheeseburger, bacon and stuff that we can. And we did that. There's 3 rounds, basically, in the World Food Championships. You have your first one, which is your signature round. Your second one, which is structured builds. Now, what they mean by that, they'll give you like a criteria of the burger you've got to make. So the first year we competed, it was we had to base it around Red Robin, which is a chain of burger restaurants they have in America. So they gave you a list of the different toppings that they do at Red Robin's, and then you had to do your own take on that.
Okay, cool.
So for that round, we did just a cheeseburger, kind of bacon. We made these wicked little kind of buttermilk onion rings, kind of really sort of thin. Made like a chipotle mayo to go with it. And there's nothing like over the top or whatever, but that was just we were trying to keep it dead simple, make sure each element was kind of done perfectly.
Yeah.
And that did really well. And then the final round on that year was the infused ingredient. So they give you an ingredient you've got to incorporate. Honey was the one that we had on in that year. So we decided to do...
Does everyone get the same ingredient, or is it individuals?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So everybody's kind of got the same criteria to kind of compete in.
Yeah.
Like for our signature one, we basically did the same burger that we did at Grill Stop, just kind of a classic cheeseburger. We made like our version of like a bit like a Big Mac sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Good. It's got like kind of mayonnaise in it, a bit of French dressing, a bit American mustard. So it's kind of tangy. It's creamy but tangy. If you know what I mean. Kind of really complements a burger really well.
You do know that's like the most sought after recipe in the world, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's dead simple. I mean, if you get it's basically a mixture of onion relish, tomato relish, French dressing, mayonnaise. I think if you type in Big Mac burger sauce recipe into Google, there's a few people who've kind of pretty much nailed it, really. But yeah, it is an awesome sauce. So for the final one we had to do honey, and so we decided to there's a recipe we've been doing back in the UK where we've been getting kind of like leftover barbecue brisket and putting it into a pot with a load of kind of local ale, sputty back, cooking it down and mixing it with kind of like barbecue sauce, and to make kind of like a pulled brisket sort of saucy a kind of paste sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Sounds epic.
Yeah, it was lovely. Yeah, and then so we did that and threw a bit of honey in it and put it on the bottom of this burger with some like red cabbage slaw, and put that one in, and that one actually won the final round of the World Burger Championship.
Wow. Awesome.
And it was that burger that put us up in the score rankings to kind of second. So and it was like I said, it was that point that we all decided, right, maybe we should think about quitting our day jobs and looking at this as an actual kind of
calling in life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that was kind of where it all kind of changed for us, really. And
that's amazing. I couldn't imagine like at that point where someone turns around, well, not just someone, the World Food Championships judges turn around and say, "You're knocking out the second best burger in the world." And I don't. Yeah. What an epic
start for a laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It was mind-blowing, and that's the sort of like, the kind of the marketing and sort of like PR thing that you can't pay for, really. So yeah, that was insane. So yeah, when we got back from America after that, we were lucky enough to get on the one show with guys from Grill Stock and do some other bits and bobs, and that's when our pop-ups, because we've been doing sort of like little pop-ups locally where we go into pub beer garden and knock out our burgers on a Tuesday night, and we'd sell like 50 burgers or something, and we'd all have a few quid in our back pocket, and that was it. And then when we came back from the World Food Championships, and we kind of got a bit of publicity about this second best burger in the world, we went from selling 50 burgers to selling 450 burgers in like
wow.
Which was it's a real learning curve for us. It was, I think the first time we did one when we got back, it was a 2-hour wait for the burger because we just had one grill.
Yeah, we're going to be here for 4 days, so...
Yeah, well, that was it. People would turn up, order their burger, and then 2 hours later they'd get given it. So, yeah, that was. You
need one of those things in like supermarkets when you're at like the sliced meat section. You get a little ticket and like 41 up.
So once we kind of like realised how popular that was going, we had to like up our game really. And so yeah, we expanded what we had, bought a few more grills, made it a bigger setup, and we just ran pop-ups basically for kind of a whole year after the competition. And yeah, we were just so lucky that they were just so busy. So we'd regularly be doing like, on one pop-up a week, but selling between 400 to 600 burgers at that one kind of pop-up.
Wicked.
And yeah, and so after that, we kind of decided, we'll go back to Grill Stock and these competitions, but we'll actually go back as traders rather than, competing.
Yeah, cool. On the other side.
Which is cool. I mean, we do miss the competition side of it and like how much fun it is and the camaraderie between all the teams and that. But it's kind of, I think we thought, right, well, burgers is what we're good at, and as much as we love the low and slow, and we do as much of that as possible, we knew that kind of burgers was our calling. So we decided to focus on that and just stick with kind of trade and stuff.
Well, exactly. Why not? I mean, do what you're doing and like invest the time into what you're trying to do, and maybe at some point in the future, if you wanted to compete again, then the door's always open, and you could do it if you wanted to. But at the moment, your calling card is the burger, and you're smashing it out, which is awesome. Yeah,
well, that's it. And we're lucky enough with the World Food Championships as well. Every team that comes in the top 10 automatically gets put into the next year's competition. So the first one was out in Vegas that we went to. That was 2014. And then last year we went out to Orlando for the World Food Championships there, which we competed in again. We didn't do quite as well as we did in the first year. We came second for our signature burger. I think we scored like 98.7 for that one,
wow.
Which was and that was a real cool one. That was we called that one the World Eater, and that was basically made like a maple cured bacon lattice, because the whole thing is it's a bit like that one bite judging. So we wanted to make sure that every bite the judge had would have every single element of the burger, and obviously bacon doesn't kind of come round. It comes in a sort of in a sort of street bacon, in the strip.
I think some of us may have seen bacon before. I think. Yeah.
So we decided to kind of make a bacon lattice, and then like cut it kind of round into a circle, so it would kind of be in every single bite of the burger, no matter which angle you kind of attacked it from.
Yeah, wicked.
And we kind of made it the same, similar sort of mayo-based kind of relish, bit of, again. But we did because we find through lots of kind of experimentation and stuff, we find that the best way to cook a burger, in our opinion, anyway, is on a flat griddle plate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because we've done it, we've tried it, directly over charcoal and stuff like that, and you do get that amazing kind of like charcoal flame grilled taste, which is awesome. But we always find that it kind of dries the patty out a little bit too much. Whereas if you cook it directly on a hot plate, kind of all that kind of like fat and stuff just I don't know, it helps it stay more moist.
Yeah. Well, it sits in it instead of dripping down through the grill grates. It sort of sits in it if it's on like a hot plate, isn't it? I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And like, because we do the big thing that we do as well is we steam the burgers at the end. So basically, we cook them completely off, and cook the pay off. Then we put all the toppings on top of it, the cheese and the bun, and then hit it with a little bit of water and whack a cloche over the top. And that steam just, helps melt all that kind of cheese and stuff and make it
even like the bun looks like sort of melted a bit when you bring it off. It has like a really nice glaze to it and stuff. It comes off looking like lush. It's weird. It's like stars in your eyes when like something goes in and then smoke comes out and it comes back out looking like it like takes a couple seconds and then it's like transformed into like this magical being.
yeah, exactly. It gets that kind of nice sort of shine, and also heats the bun up as well. Because that's the other thing. We don't really want to necessarily bite into a burger where you got a cold bun, but then a hot filling. It's nice to have a little bit of kind of heat into the bun, and it also kind of softens it up a little. But the one thing that you don't get, obviously, when you cook it on a hot plate, you don't get that char grilled sort of flavour, which just goes so well with beef. So we decided to char grill some lettuce. So we kind of, got some baby gem lettuce, oiled up the kind of grill and did that directly over coals. And then we used that to try and get that flame grilled flavour.
Awesome. So you bring it in through another element. And baby gem lettuce loves charcoal, just loves the grill.
Exactly, yeah, and it's just kind of a perfect way of trying to get that flavour into it, but still keep the patty nice and moist while cooking it on a hot plate, and that worked really well. But then the second round that year was a patty melt, which we'd never heard of to start with. But
good sign.
Good start. Then.
What's that?
What the hell's a patty melt?
Yeah.
So a patty melt is basically it's a grilled cheese sandwich with a burger in it.
Yum.
So it's pretty good. Yeah, I'm glad I know what it is now. So we experimented with that, and we did. We found a fantastic baker in Orlando who did us a kind of marbled rye bread.
Nice.
So I don't know if you've ever seen a marbled rye, but yeah, you got basically the two different colours of rye bread. They dye the one dough with black treacle. So you've got and then they put it all in together. So you've got this kind of like spiral of colour inside the bread.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it looks wicked and it tastes great as well. So we found this bakery that did this awesome bread over there. Thought, we use that. We did a little test run, before the competition, and then we got some really, really good minced New York strip, T-bone, some minced brisket, and we just kind of made a combination with the patty out of those kind of cuts.
Nice.
Obviously, the most important thing with burgers, make sure you've got a decent kind of fat content in them. It's one of the questions people always ask is, do you put egg in it? Do you put breadcrumbs and stuff? No, you shouldn't be putting anything in the burger except meat. That's in our opinion. As long as you've got that fat content, it's going to hold together kind of fine.
And what sort of like fat content are people looking at? What sort of percentage would you advise people to go for? Like a 70% or?
Yeah, we tend to do 70% meat to kind of 30% fat. The other thing, because there's a whole thing at the moment as well called kind of like rare burgers, and the amount of work we've had to do at our restaurant to be allowed to sell burgers which aren't cooked so well done. It's staggering the amount of like procedures and stuff you have to have in place to legally do it.
Yeah.
For those at home who do want to make their own burgers now, if you've got a butcher you trust and they're good and they're going to give you like kind of decent quality mince, then you should be okay cooking it medium rare. But obviously don't go and get mince from Sainsbury's or something and try and do it that. It's not going to work out well.
And quite often, like you said, if you pick your own, actually point out, can you mince up that chuck steak there for me? Can you mince up that T-bone there, or whatever, or that short rib? Can you mince whatever? If you ask to mince it there for you, then it was a whole bit of meat 1 second ago.
Exactly.
You know where it was. It's sat there, and it's being minced for you there and then.
So your own mincer and mince it yourself.
Yeah, or even pick up your own mincer.
Yeah.
Wicked.
Yeah, exactly. That's what in the restaurant when we're doing pop-ups, it's primarily a mixture of kind of chuck and a bit of brisket that we use in our patties. The reason so many people use chuck is it's kind of that cut has already got the perfect kind of fat ratio in it. It's,
Yeah.
you know, it's roughly 70 to 30. If you're feeling really, really flush, what we did for the final burger at the World Food Championships is we used ribeye, which is kind of sacrilege, putting a ribeye through a mincer, but and extremely
Costs quite
expensive.
a bit.
Yeah. Well, that's a mad thing in America. Like we're from Hereford, so like I said, we are kind of surrounded by really, really good quality beef. But in America, we're literally paying 4 times what you pay in the UK for decent, grass-fed, dry-aged beef, because it's just not that common over there, the dry-aged and grass-fed stuff. And that was one of the hardest things for us in America, was we wanted to put up a burger which would taste like the burger we make back in the UK.
Yeah.
So
Can't fly your meat over with you.
Yeah, most of their cows all grain-fed over there, isn't it? Most of the stuff they do is grain-fed.
Yeah, exactly. So, and a lot of it's wet aged as well, as opposed to kind of dry aged. So it took us ages, both in sort of Vegas and in Florida, to actually find grass fed dry aged beef. And when you do, you've really got to pay for it over there. But like I said, the ribeye one, that's the one we did for the final, and it did cost quite a bit. But the results of the patty, I mean, it was like eating butter. It was just.
Do you only have to
so
serve
juicy.
up just one burger? Is that all you get? You only
12.
12. Oh
You
wow.
have to put 12, for the judges, and you got to kind of.
They ain't messing around. 12 burgers. Bloody hell.
Yeah, so you got to do. So like I said, the one that with this patty melt was the second one that we had to do, and so we spent ages sourcing this really great kind of beef and stuff to go in it, and we tried it at home, and it was awesome. You sweated down a load of kind of onions in kind of a local ale, the butty back that we use in our kind of barbecue sauce, and put the onions in there with some Gruyere, some Swiss cheese, some American cheese, and then the patty melt, and then we made like a Thousand Island dressing. I did like a bit of a spin on it, where we put some chipotles in there, and made it a bit kind of smoky and a bit spicy. And it was delicious. But then when it came to doing it at the World Food Championships, for that round, they were sponsored by a thing called Bubba Patty, which is a frozen American burger you can get from the supermarket.
Nice.
Yeah. And we had to use that for the second round. In the first round and the final round, you use whatever you want. But in the second round, you've got to use what they supply you. So they gave us these kind of frozen burgers, which...
No way.
I can't believe that.
Yeah, and it's like you're at the World Food Championships, and I know why they got it. Yeah, and it's like it's their it's one of the sponsors, so I mean, I guess it's the way they kind of get their money to kind of fund all the stuff. So for the first round we got to use our own stuff that we bought, and that's the one I think we got like 98 point whatever it was for our burger that we entered there. And then the second one we had to use these frozen thingies that we had no experience with whatsoever, and we kind of buggered it up. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
Say that one?
Yeah, that's
that
all right.
right.
We'll let you have that one.
So, yeah.
You bubbled it up.
Yeah.
Bubbled
it up.
We totally mucked that one up, really.
You can blame that on Bubba Patty.
Yeah.
So that's their fault.
Yeah, totally, yeah. That's totally.
You're working with crap
So I
stuff. You can't exactly. I mean, you can't polish a turd, can you? I mean,
well, I see. Well, some of the other teams managed to, but I think because it's like an American product, they'd had the chance to go out and buy it and test it, whereas we can't get them over here, so we were kind of flying blind with it.
It does give you a level playing field, though, I guess, doesn't it? Everyone's been given the exact same thing, so you've then got to show the skill of what you can do to.
Yeah, but unlike what you're saying, like
Exactly.
if you've never had a chance to actually use it before, if they've all used it like loads of times before, then they got like that little level up, haven't they? I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Well, some of them take it really, really seriously. Like the guy that won sort of 2 years running, Wade. I mean, he went so far as to actually buy the barbecue that they give you to cook on, which is, I can't remember what the make of it was. Bull, I think it was, American kind of gas-powered barbecue. He went so far as to buy one to have at home so he could practice cooking on it and work out where all the hot spots were and, what sort of best way to kind of use it is. So, I mean, the guys over there,
Yeah,
they do
take it very
really
seriously.
Yeah, and some of them it's a career. I mean, they call it food sports and that, and it's kind of a bit of fun for us. But then some of them, they don't have a day job. They just do these competitions all year, and they kind of make a living just from the money that you can win. If you do
And you guys turn up and have to try and find a bakery and have to try and find a meat supplier, and you're still knocking out like second place and stuff. It's got to suck to be them. These guys turn up and they don't even have anything with them, and they still beat us.
Well, that's the thing. Like when you go over there and you try and pick up like all the things you're used to using over here, and you go over there and all the brands are different, and like nothing tastes the same. Like mayonnaise doesn't taste the same, and you know, even though it says Hellman's on it, it's not quite like what you have over here. And so yeah, it's a real, you know, you got to really adapt when you're over there. We find, you know, we were having to go to like Walmart or whatever supermarkets, buy as much stuff we can, test it all, try it all, and try and recreate as close as we can to what we do over here. So yeah, it is kind of tricky. But we did, so we really mucked up that kind of second entry, and I think they announced the positions of that first. So I think we came like 19th, and we were like just so gutted because we kind of come second the year before. And they announced this one round, the Bubba Patty round, and they're like, "Oh, the Beefy Boys 19th," and we were like, "Oh man, we're going home." It's like everyone's going to think coming second was like a total fluke. And then we came the year after and just bombed out of the competition in the first round. So we were all gutted. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you know, we're trying to explain this when we get back. And it's only the top 10 teams to get through to the third round, to the final. And like I said, we came 19th, and we were like, this, you know, maybe if our signature burger did really well, it might scrape like 10th or something, you know, if all the other teams do really, really badly. So yeah, they announced 10th place, and it was like, nah, we're not there. Then they announced 9th, and we were like, nah. And then they announced 8th. God. So we started to literally, we were all like, you know, ready to get an attack. Yeah, exactly, you know, in tears and that's all ready to go. And then they announced 7th, and we jumped from all the way from 19th because our signature burger got scored so high. Yeah, we did the biggest jump apparently in World Food Championships history. No one's ever gone from like 19th to get into the top 10. Yeah. So yeah, we went from 19th to 7th, and luckily, yeah, got into the final.
Wicked. I really need this burger. This has got to be an epic burger.
Yeah, it was a good. Well, then the infused ingredient on the final round that year was citrus. And so we'd been doing a burger back in the UK called the Mexican Boy, where it was kind of our standard patty with Swiss cheese and American cheese and kind of bacon. We put cheese and bacon on all our burgers. It's kind of,
yeah,
I hate when you go to a restaurant, you've got to pay extra for it. It's like, no, it should come with that as standard. And
yeah, everyone wants it. Who doesn't want it?
So do you get
want bacon?
Do customers get money back if they don't want bacon at your restaurant?
No.
You should charge them more.
They get kicked out. Leave!
Charge them more to take it off.
So yeah, we do this Mexican one. We make a little kind of like salsa sort of at the bottom, you know, kind of tomatoes, garlic, oregano, chili, you know, just a classic sort of like salsa at the bottom. Make like a homemade guacamole, you know, plenty of sort of lime juice and that in it. Bit of kind of like sour cream, and then we crush nachos over the top of it, and then we put Mexican cheese and burger on top of that. So it's kind of got all the kind of flavors that you associate with kind of like Mexican food in the burger, and the nachos just bring that sort of crunch to it, so you get a bit of texture. So when they were like, the final round citrus, we're like, yeah, brilliant, we'll kind of do that one. So we knocked those burgers out, and then we were really, really happy with them. They looked great, you know, tasted great. Sent them through, and I can't remember the exact position we came in at, but it didn't bump us up any higher than 7th. I think we did quite well with it. It scored quite high, but a lot of the other teams had, you know, because that was one feedback we had from the judges, is that all we had in it was lime juice, whereas the other teams have got lime juice, orange juice, grapefruit. They'd just like gone berserk and got citrus into almost every single element.
Did it actually taste nice though?
Well, that's the annoying thing. You don't get to try the other guy's food. Yeah. So it's like, you know, you see them going past, and you know they look good in that. But I mean, the guy that won was it's a guy from Canada. I can't remember his name now off the top of my head. But yeah, he'd cured some bacon with like kind of orange sort of zest and juice in it. So he'd really gone all out to get it in there. So I think when we go back this year, because this year the competition's in Alabama. So we're heading there in November, and they haven't announced what the rounds are yet. But I know whatever the signature kind of the infused ingredient round is, we're going to really try and
really try and nail that one, haven't you?
Yeah, try and get it in every single element of the burger, really.
Awesome.
I love like one of my like most popular posts on my social media was a burger, and it was at the time I just posted it as here's my like ultimate burger, and I know that it's only a burger, but it's I think it's awesome, and the amount of people that are like, it's not only a burger, like burgers are like such an awesome thing, and I think it shows that we can, if you have like best burger in like a world food championship, we can talk a whole podcast episode just about burger. I think like burgers, they can just be, like you said, a cheap one from a supermarket that's burnt to a crisp and dry, but a burger done well is like a piece of art, isn't it? It's amazing. Like, you can do so much. You just said about this like Mexican style one, and I've looked on your menu at your Beefy Boys restaurant, and you've got, well, I don't know how many on there. It's about like 8 or 10 different burgers that are on here, and they're all very different and got different flavors coming through. And I had burgers yesterday. Sometimes I think I really want to work on like my burger. I just got this quest to find like the ultimate burger. And I obviously need to come to you guys because
we're just gonna have to have your guys' recipe.
but mine yesterday was like a combination of chuck and smoked streaky bacon. That was like what was in my patty, and it was very, very, very juicy, to be honest. And I don't know where you go with your like cooking style, but I'm quite often with mine now. I smoke them for like a bit of time first, and then finish them off over the grill afterwards. So
reverse,
yeah, exactly. So. And I find that keeps a lot of the moisture inside them, and it's just a really nice way to have it. And they were really juicy. It was like dripping out.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's the thing about a burger, and I think it's partly to do with kind of our, the kind of our generation, I guess, now, because you've got people in their kind of like 20s, 30s now who grew up, with the Happy Meal as a kid. You go to McDonald's as a treat, and so as you get older, I think that burger still has that kind of special place in your heart. Do you know what I mean? So but you're after that sort of experience that you had as a kid, but now that you're older, you want it with decent ingredients and done well and cooked properly. And so we find it with the restaurant, the people we get in, you can have like a couple in their sort of 70s coming because they love burgers, or you can have like an 8-year-old kid coming because he loves burgers. It just does appeal to kind of everyone. But there's so much room within that, what is a burger, to kind of experiment and to do it in different ways. I mean, the smoking a burger and kind of doing it, so I guess you're almost doing like a reverse sort of sear there, aren't you? Cooking it kind of low to start with, and then getting that caramelization on the outside. I mean, the way that we do it is kind of based on kind of like the smash patty technique. So we basically roll out weigh out our patties into kind of like a ball.
And whack it on top.
Yeah, exactly. And you see, I see so many kind of posts and stuff. You say, "Oh, don't squeeze your burger," and all this. You shouldn't over squeeze your burger at all. But you want to get that caramelization on the first bit. Now, we always, when you push down on it, to push that ball into kind of like your patty shape on the grill, you're not losing any kind of juice or anything because none of the meat's cooked. It's completely raw. So none of the fat's rendered down. You're not going to be squishing anything out. All you're literally doing is, putting as much contact of that meat onto the grill as possible. And so, you can squeeze down there as much as you like. We always say to our chefs and when we're training, you get 2 squeezes on a burger. After that, you cannot squeeze it whatsoever. So you get your first one when you push it down onto the griddle plate. And then when you flip it, that's your second squeeze that you're allowed to do. After that, you shouldn't be squeezing your burger at all. So it's just going to squeeze out that kind of moisture. But those first 2 squeezes are that's your chance to get as much contact and sort of caramelization on it as possible.
Do you ever like to build up caramelization? I've been like making a sort of mixture of South Carolina barbecue sauce and a normal barbecue sauce, and like painting it onto the burger, and as I turn it, it's like building up like a nice crust on the outside.
Oh, like a glaze on the outside. Yeah.
Do you do stuff like that, or would you not need to do that?
Not at the moment. I mean, what we did, because we, so basically after coming back to the World Food Championships for a year, we kind of did pop-ups, and then at the end of last year, pretty much first week of January this year, we opened a restaurant in Hereford in our hometown. And our philosophy with that to start with was to keep everything really, really simple on the menu. So we opened up just, with a few burgers on the menu and a few sides. Everything's kind of made from scratch and made by hand. So we wanted to keep it dead simple and kind of learn, how to use the kitchen, how the restaurant works and everything first before we start kind of getting a bit crazy with it. So it's last couple of months we've started to experiment a little bit more. So we kept it dead simple, just making sure we were doing burgers, which were sort of just perfectly done, but done well. So now we've started trying to push what a burger can be a little bit. So we haven't gone down the route of kind of glazing or anything yet, but some of the things that we have been doing that we've just got on the menu recently, we've got the macaroni boy, which was kind of just inspired by kind of mac and cheese and just how much like everybody loves macaroni and cheese. So we wanted to try and find a way of doing that. So we got this great burger on the menu at the moment, which is it's a normal sort of patty and cheese and everything. We make like a chipotle ketchup, so it's just like a nice tangy sort of tomato-based, smoky, hot ketchup. And then on top of that, we make a patty out of mac and cheese, basically. So make like a real tasty mac and cheese. And then we make a little hole in the middle of the mac and cheese patty, which we then fill up with like a beer nacho sauce that we make. So, the way we make our nacho sauce is we use a thing called sodium citrate, which is like a citrus. Yeah. So have you used that before?
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Danny Hawk from Bristol Drum Smokers, he informed us of this dark art, and we went straight on Amazon and got ourselves some, and it's changed our mac and cheese world.
Yeah, exactly. It just for anyone who doesn't know, what it helps do is it stops cheese from emulsifying and splitting, so you can pretty much melt into like a perfectly smooth sauce any cheese that you want, anything at all, and it'll just come out. You don't have to make a roux, you don't have to do anything like that. So we use some local kind of pale ale, sodium citrate, and then a mixture of kind of pepper jack, mozzarella. We put a little bit of truffle oil in there as well, and a tiny little bit of kind of mustard, just to kind of make the flavours, give it a bit sort of more depth. In this burger we make a little patty out of macaroni cheese that we cover in kind of like panko breadcrumbs and deep fry it. So you've got this crispy but cheesy sort of patty, and in the middle of it is this hole which is kind of bursts with sort of liquid kind of nacho cheese as well. So that one's being quite popular.
Good.
Yeah.
On the menu. And then the other one that we launched the other day, which we were really chuffed with, is the Pizza Boy.
Yes.
But this is the thing, we haven't seen, like, everyone loves burgers, everyone loves pizza. I've never seen like a pizza-based burger. So we made kind of a homemade kind of marinara sauce, oregano, garlic, tomato and stuff. So that's kind of our your tomato sauce base. We put that on the bottom, and we put some red onion on it. On top of that, we put like breaded mozzarella, so you get that kind of like pull with the cheese. And then we got a patty, and what we do, instead of steaming it with the lid on, we steam it with the cheese on, but then we put pepperoni on top of it as well. So, and when it's served with the lid off. So you got this cheesy top of the burger, which actually looks like a pizza because it's covered in sort of pepperoni. And we serve that with a kind of like our take on, the Domino's garlic and herb dip they do. We've kind of made our own homemade version of that we serve.
No way. That's I know we've already said about the McDonald's sauce, the Big Mac sauce, but
we love the
Domino's
sauce.
The Domino's sauce is like out of this world. Whenever I order Domino's, like, it's pretty rare, but whenever I do, I always order like 20 other sauces. So like when I'm doing my own pizza at home, I'm like, I'll get a bit of that sauce on it. Let's get some of that sauce.
But it's one of my favourite like sort of fast food dips. So we thought, let's try and make our own version of that, and that's simple as well. That's just kind of like mayo, Dijon, lemon juice, garlic, and loads of flat leaf parsley. And that'll make you that, it'll taste pretty much exactly. Well, it tastes better than the Domino's.
Ooh.
Sort of.
I'm going home. I'll test that out.
Have you tried the Papa John one? The garlic one they do is bizarre.
None of them are. And Pizza Hut, they do like the Heinz one, which is dreadful. It's like a garlic. Sorry, just not good at all. The only one that's epic, Domino's is pretty epic though. Yeah. That is an epic sauce. I have to give it to them.
Yeah.
The BEEFY Boys have smashed it anyway. So
yeah. We want yours now.
We want yours now, yeah.
Well, that's it. The Pizza Boys were massively kind of popular since we kind of launched that. So it's quite fun now, because we've got our kind of standard classic sort of burgers done. So we're kind of really just experimenting on what a burger can be now. If you know what I mean.
Yeah,
so
awesome.
That's kind of
but then something across the board that's you're using the same beef patty for all of your burgers. Is that right?
Yeah, we do in the restaurant, and that's just, in competition we will change the mix sort of slightly. And, I mean, the reason being is, we couldn't sell a burger with a ribeye, we would have to charge like 30 quid for it. So, so the commercial, and Chuck does produce fantastic sort of patty.
Yeah.
Anyway. And the only time that we'd ever use like kind of a different blend and stuff for the World Food Chat is when, you've really got to get as much flavour across in one bite as kind of possible to the judges, and you've got to make sure your patty stands up against another 50 burgers, so you've really got to make it stand out.
Is the burger a bit like like in barbecue competition, people say like you're packing it all into one bite, and therefore eating the whole thing wouldn't actually be as enjoyable? Is it the same, do you think, with the burger? Is it like at a level where it's so much that you actually wouldn't want to eat a whole one?
Well, you probably would. You definitely want to eat a whole one.
You give it a good go.
Yeah.
Hell yeah!
Well, funny enough, last year and this year as well, Grill Stock kindly asked us to be one of the judges on the burger competition. So, which sounded amazing. I was like, yeah, I get to eat a load of burgers.
Yeah.
But
it's quite hard to eat a lot of burgers, isn't it?
25 burgers in, it's pretty hard going, yeah. I mean, and you end up, like the first couple of burgers, you can take as many bites as you want, but you obviously got to take at least one. And so the first 10 burgers, I was probably having 2, maybe 3 bites if the burger was really nice. Yeah. And but that hit that halfway mark, and it was like, oh no, I'm starting to feel a bit rough now, and I've still got another 15 burgers to go. And then the last burger, and it was Priscilla. Do you know Priscilla?
Yeah.
Yeah, the last burger was a raspberry donut cut in half with bacon dipped in white chocolate on the top of it. And I'd just eaten 24 burgers, and this was the last one. And that was hard going, that one. That was very...
nice dessert for you at the end.
Yeah, nice meaty, cheesy, chocolatey dessert right at the end there. Which is that was the year Priscilla was trying to make everything that she sent up to the judges thing pink.
Okay.
So that's why I got the raspberry glazed donut on a burger, which it isn't. It's not one that I'll be knocking out in the restaurant.
No.
To
Okay.
be honest. But
have you done any donut burgers?
No, I haven't. I mean, I've had a few now, just from kind of various places and stuff, and I kind of like the idea of it. If you know what I mean. I really do like the idea.
Just haven't had one executed quite right yet.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I was quite when we were over in the States was the kind of corn dogs, because it's pretty much like a donut batter around the dog. But I find that works a little bit better, and I think that's something that we might do in the future. Is some sort of kind of gourmet kind of corn dogs. I think they're kind of it's a food thing which is crying out to be given a bit more sort of attention. So I think that's probably as close as we go to the donut.
What about dipping a burger in a donut batter and then cooking it so it actually is like a burger filled donut, not like a jam filled donut, but a burger filled donut.
Sounds
I think there's definitely a decent kind of idea there. I mean, I think the problem is when you start getting into
I'll take 50% of the cut. Intellectual right.
If you enter that in the World Championship, we want to say that we won that.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about waffles?
You guys know.
Yeah, waffles.
Well, we really wanted to do a chicken and waffle sort of burger, so we're starting to kind of add chicken and stuff to the menu now. So
we're waffling on now. This is.
I mean, it did remind me actually thinking of when we were judging the Grill Stock competition. One tip, another tip for kind of making patties at home is never season through the meat. And it's one thing that I remember a lot of the burgers that came up, and I was like, you can just instantly tell from the texture that they've seasoned the inside of the patty.
Interesting.
And I mean, the thing is, as soon as you do that, so as soon as you So say you've got your mince laid out before you roll it. If you season all the mince and then roll it into patties, what you're effectively doing there is you're making charcuterie because you're curing the meat.
Yeah.
So it changes the texture. And you know when you bite into kind of a burger and it's kind of like really knotted together and a bit kind of tough, it has a certain texture, and that will only come, I find, from seasoning the inside of the patty.
Makes sense.
I think, in my opinion, you're far better off just seasoning the outside, just like it was a steak.
Yeah.
That way you don't compromise the kind of like makeup of the burger then, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The grind will stay as it is, and as long as you see, and you can really season the outside of a burger, because that's, when you're seasoning the burger, there's the other thing to think about as well, that when we talk about it, is you're seasoning the entire thing. You've got the bun, you've got the salad, you've got the sauce, you've got the lettuce. The only bit of it which is really going to get any salt is the patty. So we're always trying to think about it. You're not just seasoning the patty, you're seasoning the entire burger with that seasoning.
Okay, so you would normally go a little bit over on what you would.
Yeah, we do. I mean, we make our season. What we see, we don't just season it with just salt. We've got kind of. I won't say everything we've got in it, but we've got. It's general kind of usual things. Good garlic powder, onion powder, those sort of things. And you can really experiment a little bit with the rub. So we do put a special seasoning on, which isn't 100% salt. So we kind of cover it a little bit, but it's fine because it's mixed with other stuff. It's not going to be overly salty because it's got those things in it. But we only ever season the outside. That's the one thing that we do.
Cool.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Another great tip. Awesome.
So you don't actually serve up in the restaurant any of your like competition winning dishes? There's not like the number 2 burger in the world special or anything on the menu?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we serve that. I mean, well, not at the moment because our smoker's broken, but we did when we first opened. We were serving the Butty Back, which is the one which won the grand final of the World Food Championships. That was on the menu when we first opened. It's not there now, just from the fact that our smoker broke down and we're waiting to sort it out. But some of the other ones we do, like the Chipotle one that we entered, that's kind of on the menu as well. We haven't gone down the route yet of kind of like putting it on the menu, or this one came wherever, or this one kind of came wherever, because in the restaurant there is a certain element of like we want people to kind of make their own burgers. So there's things that you can add, like kind of jalapeno poppers if you want to the burger, or you can double it up. You make it kind of whatever size you want. So we do want kind of like
you can triple it as well, can't you?
Yeah, well you can. Well, one bloke did 10 patties on Saturday, which was
10?
absolutely.
Yeah, I think that might be me. I think I don't know.
And his dad came in, and so the triple's kind of quite a common one that we get. Obviously, people double it up quite often. Tripling it up, they're a third of a pound, our burgers. So if you triple it up, you're effectively having a pound of meat, in your burger. But this guy came in the other day and ordered 10.
So 3.5 pounds of meat. Wow.
Yeah, and it was literally like 2 foot tall.
How did you make it stand up?
We got these really good. They're like it's almost like a javelin, and you kind of whack them in the top. And we were like, when we were carrying it through the restaurant, like, people were getting up off their chairs and applauding. But
it's like a Lion King moment. You were lifting up the burger.
It was a little bit kind of like that. But the dude ate it all, which was we were really impressed with. It took him about an hour to eat it.
You get it for free if you eat it all.
No. Gave him 1 patty for free, actually.
Yeah. Buy 9, get 1 free.
He'd ordered 9. He said, "Would you guys make it up to 10?" And we were like, "Yeah, no worries." So we chucked him an extra one for free. But we are going to get kind of a wall of fame, sort of thing up there for.
Is that your record now? Then 10.
10 is the record. We've seen on Facebook. A lot
bar's been set. All right.
Yeah, they're going to come in and try 11 or 12.
Hereford's not that far away from us, is it?
Yeah, can we make it there for lunch?
You'll definitely want to sleep on the way back if you go for that. So,
meat sweats and just pass out. I think that'll be it. Right, we are at the hour mark, so I'm going to have to call it a day there. That was absolutely epic. Thank you very much. I feel like I've just been schooled in the burger world.
I love it. I'm on my quest for the ultimate burger, and you've definitely helped me out massively.
Yeah, you've pointed us in the right direction. We now are approaching the ultimate burger stardom. We can make it there.
Awesome, man. Well, if you guys ever want to come down to the restaurant, just send me a message or whatever and let us know. And yeah, come down and we'll sort you guys out.
That's definitely happening.
Yeah, wicked. We're 100% come and check it out, definitely. So thank you very much. It's been epic. Another epic show. Thank you very much.
Could you just tell everyone where they can find you on social medias?
Yeah, so we're on Facebook. It's Facebook/Beefy Boys, Instagram, and Twitter. Those are kind of the big ones, I guess. So check us out there, and our restaurant's in Hereford on the Old Market Retail Centre. So yeah, pop by and say hello.
Second best burger in the world, guys. Go check them out. Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We've recorded yet another awesome podcast to get you over Hump Day. As always, we're brought to you by BBQ BBQ Gourmet and Smokewood Shack, our awesome sponsors. BBQ is dedicated to providing you with quality smoking products with top-notch service and free advice for beginners to pitmasters, and you can find them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram under BBQ Smokers. BBQ Gourmet is devoted to promoting real barbecue and supplying the UK and Europe with top championship-winning barbecue rubs, sauces, marinades, and accessories from the US and around the world. And you can find them on Twitter and online under BBQ Gourmet. And Smokewood Shack delivers quality smoking wood every time. They provide the smoking goodness, you provide the talent. So if you're looking for smoking wood chunks, dust, chips or planks, then head on over to smokewoodshack.com and you can find them on Twitter at Smokewood Shack. So goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
See you later.
Cheers. Bye.
Ciao for now.